Good evening. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Temple ISD Board of Trustees held on April 14th, 2025, beginning at 6 p.m. Our first order is to call us to order. Our second item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Would everybody please stand and face the American flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor
The Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Item 3 is public comments on agenda items. Monica, has anybody signed up tonight? All right, thank you. Item 4 is the superintendent's recognition with Dr. Adams. Members will please come in front of the dais. First is the Temple High School Skills USA medalist.
All right. The Temple High School Career and Technical Education Department excelled at Skills USA state competition in Corpus Christi earlier this month. The department won several first-place honors and had a number of students win medals by placing in the top 5 while representing several of the department pathways. So students, as I call your name, you'll come up and you'll shake everybody's hand, and then we'll stay up there for a picture. From manufacturing, Madison Karkowski won first place, and she is the first female from Temple High School to win a gold medal in precision metal technology.
And she's only a sophomore.
Only a sophomore, yeah. From construction, Jesse Tipton, Bryson Bales, and Nate Valdez all won first place medals. Adam Rodriguez and McCavian Harrison took second place honors, and Bales also finished third in state in cabinet making. From automotive, first place winners are Dakota Dolt, Santiago Garcia Munoz, Jonathan Lopez Sotelo, Daniel Salinas. Go ahead, gentlemen, go ahead and go on up there. Yep. Kaylee Tatum, Ariana Williams, Enrique Cisneros, Josiah Davis, Duncan Nelson, Riley Rager, Christopher Webster, Noah Ash, Osmar Ortiz, and Zachary Jurasic. Other automotive medalists include Georgina Martinez, Luis Juarez, Monte James, Emiliano Hernandez, Rolando Ramirez, Titan Devlin, Angel Badillo Loreto, and Leandro Matthews. Several of our other automotive students won multiple honors during the competition. From cosmetology, Paris Music, Kendall Morgan, Amira Parker, Vanessa Soto Hernandez, Natalia DeNova, Maria Camarillo, and Angelina Silva all earned first place superior ratings. We also want to recognize their teachers. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming up here. Joshua Kuntz, Bradley Hamrick, Jonathan Anastas, Richard Jackson, Stephen Bishop, and Melissa Coppage. We would also like to congratulate you tonight. So congratulations to all the successful Skills USA contest winners for the way you represent Temple ISD. We are so very proud of you. Congratulations. Everybody, we'll take as many pictures as you like, parents, so feel free. Won't let them move. Everybody good? All right. Okay, we're going to head out that way. Thank you so much. If y'all don't mind letting them come out. Great job, CTE. Fantastic.
Next, we have the Temple High School Kittens State Champions.
All right. When I call your name, you'll go up. Okay? All right. The Temple High School Kittens closed out their contest schedule with the Dance Line State competition last month and came home from that event as state champions. The Kittens officers won overall grand champions to take first place overall in state. The varsity Kittens won grand champions in their division to finish second overall in state. The Kittens also won numerous other awards during their contest season. Tonight, we recognize the 2024-2025 Kittens for their success. The Kittens are Marisol Alday, Madison Chapman, Ana Chavez, Natalie Chavez Espinosa, Jazaria Clinton, Melissa Diaz, Okiria Dobbins, Estefany Dominguez, Diana Duran, Alinda Enriquez, Kalasia Footman, Sarah Farley, Deja Fulton, Chloe Green, Lauren Green, Ayana Guillory, Cheyenne Herrera, Bella Jenkins, Yaratzi Lopez, Samantha Marin, Mercedes Mendoza, Alina Neves, Jordan Ortiz, Melody Preachers, Carly Quiones Garcia, Jessely Reyes, Ana Rocha, Valeria Rodriguez, Isabella Rodriguez, Talicia Russell, Sanya Stresta, Elena Slauson, Alicia Vargas, Jocelyn Vasquez Rivera, Zaylee Ward, and Ashton Wellen. The Kittens are coached by Kelsey Bjornley, and assistant director is Maddie Baker. Congratulations to all of you on a successful contest season. We are so proud of you for being state champions. They know how to stand in a line, too. They did a great job, did they not? Looked fantastic. There you go. There you go. Awesome. Let's make sure we get all the pictures. Hang on just a second. Everybody, over here a little bit. Okay, everybody good? Fantastic. Congratulations. We'll head out that way.
Next, we have the Temple High School BPA National Qualifiers.
The Temple High School chapter of Business Professionals of America is sending a pair of students to the organization's National Leadership Conference next month based on their performances at the BPA State Leadership Conference. Madison Abbey, go ahead and go now, made history for this chapter after qualifying for the national competition with a 6th place finish in fundamental word processing. Madison is believed to be the Mason, I'm sorry. I apologize, Madison. Should I start over? That's Mason. I'm so sorry. I apologize. I'm so sorry. Mason made history for the chapter after qualifying for the national competition. He is believed to be the first BPA member to qualify for national competition. Steve Baca is national alternate after finishing in 11th place in intermediate word processing at the state competition and will also represent Temple High School at NLC. Both students are sophomores, so we're hoping to see that this is the first of several appearances at the national level. The THS BPA chapter advisor is Mrs. Jessica Cuellar, and we also recognize her tonight for the chapter's growth and accomplishments. Congratulations to you all, and we wish you the best of luck at the national conference. We're so proud of you. Congratulations. Thank you. Kari, that's what I call you, name.
Next, we have the Temple High School girls track long jump school record, Kari Holloman.
So when you have been competing in athletics for as long as Temple High School has, you develop a rich and storied history. So anytime someone breaks a school record, it's a big deal. Temple High School junior Kari Holloman put her name in the THS girls track record by jumping 20 feet 1 inch in the long jump at the Hutto Hippo Relays last month. She broke the previous record of 20 feet that was held by Sanaya Richardson and set last year. Tonight, we recognize Kari for that record and also get to mention that she is qualified for the regional meet in several events after helping lead the Timcats to a third straight District 12 6A championship this year. Kari is joined by her coach, Tamika Levan, at tonight's meeting. We're so proud of the way you represented Temple High School and Temple ISD, and we congratulate you on setting the record and all the accomplishments you've done this season. Congratulations. Everybody get, oh wait, we gotta get pictures.
That's right, she is the triple jump record. Got long jump and triple jump. That's impressive.
You good? Okay. Congratulations.
I mean, that's our next track coach, right?
Next is the 2024-2025 WCS Wellness Member of the Year, Amy Hayes.
Amy Hayes and Linda Hernandez were recognized as the 2025 WCS Annual Wellness Member of the Year for their successful efforts in engaging TISD employees in the wellness program, resulting in strong employee wellness year after year. Amy and Linda have been huge champions of the wellness program, and we sincerely appreciate the valuable time and tremendous energy they have given to inspire, engage, and encourage all staff members. In a letter to the HR department, WCS states, "Changing lives for the better is not an easy task, nor is it accomplished in a single campaign. It is an honor to work with you to enhance the well-being of your employees. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity and for your continued support of the Well-Connected Employee Wellness Program." Congratulations.
So I just wanted to brag on Amy and Linda. I don't think you could find another director of wellness and benefits or benefits record specialist in the state of Texas. They truly give their all to our staff. They advocate for our staff. They find the next best thing for our staff, and we are truly.
There's a certificate
Next is the alumni spotlight.
Okay.
Adams.
So our first alumni spotlight is on Michael Morris. So Mr. Morris, if you want to come to the front. There he is. Michael Morris is a proud graduate of the Temple High School class of 1998, and we're happy to shine our alumni spotlight on him this month. Michael has a true Wildcat heart and is a fourth-generation Temple High School graduate. His parents both graduated from Temple High School in 1979, and his grandfather served on the school board for 16 years in the 60s through the 80s. Michael would go on to attend Texas A&M University after graduating from Temple High School, but as his nomination said, he returned to Temple as soon as he could. He attends every Temple High School football game and actively keeps up with all the happenings in Temple. Michael is also active in the Temple High School Quarterback Club as a director and enjoys raising money to support many of the Temple High School organizations. He is a detective for the Georgetown Police Department and has worked in Georgetown for 20 years. Michael attended Scott Elementary School and Travis Middle School before Temple High School. He was a drummer in the Wildcat Band and played baseball and football. He says his favorite memories about being a student in Temple ISD are the many friends he met through the years and still talks to today, the teachers that taught him, being a drummer in the band, playing baseball, and wearing the blue front white back pants. When asked what being a Wildcat means to you, he said, being a Wildcat means having a big heart, doing the right thing, even when no one is looking, and having class in everything I do. These are the values that were taught to me by Coach Bob McQueen and the many coaches I played for in Temple ISD. Michael's wife, Angie, has worked for Temple ISD for 16 years, and the couple is raising a fifth generation of Temple ISD students with their daughters, Amber and Avery. Thank you, Michael, for your true blue Wildcat spirit, and we are so pleased to be able to recognize you as an alumni tonight. Congratulations.
I'll tell you what, I don't know that we can say anything more than what Lisa just said to show what a true blue Wildcat he is. He bleeds blue. I have known Michael and his family, almost 20 years probably. Our girls were cheerleaders together, and their entire family is at every single event. They're at sporting events. They're at events at the school. They help load band equipment. They do everything for our kiddos. And fifth generation, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, it is. So not only Michael deserves this, but I think his family does too. So we're very
This was a 6-1 vote.
Okay. Our next alumni to recognize tonight is Miss Tanya Ledger McKeska-Reed. Tanya, would you come to the front? Tanya is a proud graduate of the Temple High School class of not telling what year, and she has continued to serve the families and students of Temple ISD. We're so happy to have the opportunity to recognize her with the Alumni Spotlight. Tanya taught drafting at Temple High School in the early 90s after graduating from college. She also served as a Temple ISD trustee on the school board for 7 years in the late 90s and early 2000s. Tanya is now the Vice President of Architecture at MRB Group, where Temple ISD is one of her most valued clients, and she has worked on multiple bond projects with the district. Tanya attended Thornton Elementary School and Bonham Middle School before Temple High School. She played volleyball and basketball and was an officer in student council both her junior and senior year. Her father attended Temple High School in the 50s, and Tanya raised 4 sons in TISD, where she says they received an amazing education both in the classroom and in life. When asked what it means to her to be a Wildcat, she said teamwork, dedication, loyalty, honor, integrity, and pride. So we asked her what some of her favorite memories of Temple ISD are. She said, I have too many special memories to count. I loved every minute of high school and made lifelong friendships with both student peers and faculty at Temple High School. Athletics were probably my best times at Temple High School. I loved volleyball and basketball and the camaraderie of being on a team and learning all the life lessons that go along with team sports. Student Council National Convention in Kansas City, Missouri is probably one of my fondest memories. Lastly, I was in industrial arts and Estelle Gilland was my drafting teacher. I was the only girl in the class, and he didn't think it was right for me to be in a class with all those boys. So he put my drafting table in the hallway. I would often escape to go shoot hoops until he would come find me. Mr. Gilland was instrumental in me wanting to become an architect, and I have fond memories of him still today. Thank you, Tanya, for letting us recognize you tonight.
Linda Hernandez, no. Linda Hernandez, class of 1984, and Michael Leffner back there in 1984. So my classmates are still hanging around.
Well, Tanya, I wasn't going to say the class. We started off in Thornton together, so
We did.
yes.
You're a lot older than me.
That's true. I am. Have less hair than you do too. You really, truly embody what's best for Temple, and you truly are a wildcat. You've always been. You still continue to work with us. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for everything that you've done for your family.
Thank you. My family's here. Police, some of them.
You want to introduce them?
Sure. That's my father. Stand up, Dad, or just wave. My father, Billy Joe Ledger, my mother, Kate Ann Ledger, my husband, Dexter Reed, our second son, Roman McKeska, our fourth son, Jaden Reed, our third son, Rylan McKeska's wife, and my grandson, Rex.
So cute.
And somewhere running around is Amanda Callahan, and she's running around with our sixth grandbaby. And they all live in Temple, by the way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you again. Congratulations.
Our next item is the Superintendent's Leadership Award.
So normally on the board agenda, there's a name next to this award, and we left the name off. It's kind of an orchestrated move, because if this person knew that they were, if this person knew they were on the agenda, they wouldn't show up. This person's the dictionary definition of humility, and so Lisa's going to read a lot of things about this person that
Leadership is the attitude assumed by those with a vision to raise expectations, who are committed to achieving a goal and whose conviction inspires them through enthusiasm and optimism to reach that goal. Mike Leffner is the PE teacher at Hector P. Garcia Elementary School and is in his 36th year of service to Temple ISD. He is a 1984 graduate of Temple High School and served as head athletic trainer for Temple ISD for 22 years. And while we're extremely grateful for his service in those areas, tonight we're recognizing Coach Leffner for everything else that he does for the students of Temple ISD. Coach Leffner serves as the official photographer for the Temple ISD athletic department, and he also maintains the athletic department website. He spends countless hours of his free time attending athletic events both at home and on the road, capturing action photos of TISD athletic events and constantly adding fresh content to the athletic department website. He takes photos of every sport, every team, at every level.
Let me just stop right there. Every level. I'm talking 7th grade B team volleyball at Lamont. Our kids are getting exposure because of him and the countless hours. He is all over. We're not just talking varsity. We're not just talking service sport.
also takes the time to get photos of those who support those athletes and might not otherwise get the recognition they deserve for their hard work and dedication. Thanks to his commitment, the Temple ISD athletic website has garnered statewide and national recognition for its exceptional content and fan engagement, consistently receiving over 200,000 page views each month. The students of Temple ISD and their families benefit from Coach Leffner's work because they can relive the memories of competition for years to come, even if those families were not able to attend the games he photographs. His dedication to the students of Temple ISD and their families is unsurpassed, and we cannot thank him enough for his hard work and commitment. So for this and so much more, we are honored to present Mike Leffner with the Superintendent Leadership Award. Congratulations, Coach.
This man is such a blessing to work with families that can't catch their kids' games, and just the idea of creating memories, photographs, you name it. I mean, it's really incredible what he does for the school district. Very grateful for you. Very good. Thank you. Oh, yeah, now. He'll never come to another board meeting.
So we're going to move to the next part of the board, but y'all are welcome to leave if you'd like to. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Or you can stay. Nice to meet you. That's amazing.
All right. Item 5 is executive hires, and Dr. Ward, we don't have anything tonight. Okay. Item 6 is the board president's report. The first item is the board self-assessment, and members, you should have gotten in your email boxes an email from Dr. Ott and from Monica on our team development assessment. And please do this in the next 2 weeks, fill it out. So that way, when we have our April 29th meeting, we'll have the full report ready to go. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask myself about that. All right. B, announcement of school board training credits. This is the announcement of continuing education for Temple ISD school board members, April 2024 to April 2025. Under the State Board of Education rule, completing required continuing education each year of service is a basic obligation, expectation of any sitting board member. For board president, I am required to announce the name of each member who, as of that member's anniversary of election or appointment to the board, has completed the required continuing education, has exceeded the required continuing education, and is deficient in meeting the required continuing education. All Temple ISD board members, Dan Posey, Ronnie Gaines, Virginia Suarez, Linnell Davis, Shannon Gowan, Shannon Myers, and Don Cook have completed and exceeded the required continuing education. Item C is Board and Community Members Advocacy Meeting with state representatives. I know Mrs. Cook and Mrs. Myers attended, and they're going to report tonight.
On Thursday and Friday last week, Shannon Myers, Dawn Cook, and Dr. Ott participated in the Raise Your Hand Texas Advocacy Day at the Capitol. We invited 5 members of our community to join us and meet with our representatives: Lisa Brown, Brian Daniel, Jamaica Gray, Lindsay Macy, and Daniel Mungia. These community members that included current and former teachers, local business owners, and TISD parents shared personal experiences of how TISD is impacted by insufficient funding and flawed assessment and accountability. Also discussed was the personal financial literacy requirement at the high school level, the Teacher's Bill of Rights, and having TEA compile a list of mandates along with a fiscal note.
Members, are there any questions? Anything? Thank you all very much for attending. That was very important, and I think we've had a very big impact down in Austin. Thank you.
Anybody wants to know more, give us a call.
Okay. Appreciate it. Item D is future items of discussion. Is there any items you wish to discuss at a future board meeting? All right. E, important dates, and Dr. Ott.
Well, there's a lot of them because we're closing out the school year and there's a lot of events. You have the fine arts important dates addendum that's added and has all the different spring festivals, the different end of year performances. On the main page, I'll just start with this Wednesday. We have another parent meeting, parent night. The first 2 have been a success. The first 2 has really talked about growth. This one we're talking about artificial intelligence in the classroom and technology, and our digital learning team and curriculum folks and Vance's shop. They've done a great job putting together some mini sessions, rotations for the group. That'll be at Temple High School this Wednesday. It starts at 5:30. 5:30 to 6, I believe, is social snacks, and then we start at 6 o'clock. And we should be over by 7 or maybe a little after. The next day, Thursday, we have Leadership Temple. I believe we have some of them there. Can you wave Leadership Temple? Okay. All right, I'll have to give you extra credit Thursday when I present to you. But no, they're coming. They have an education day, and they split the day between TISD and, I believe, Temple College. Is that right? So we're in the morning, and they're going to go over to the high school later in the morning and tour some of our facilities, and then have the opportunity to be served by our culinary department and listen to a presentation. So we're real excited to have you, and thanks for being here tonight as well. Friday and Monday are holidays. And if you go down to April 23rd, we have our board policy committee, and the 24th, we do not have a facilities committee because we have collapsed that into the board retreat, which I know the paper says admin building because we were going to start there, but it'll actually start at Bonham Middle School. So that I'll send out a reminder, and so will Monica before then, but that's where we'll start. And then it actually has a facilities committee on there, but that's canceled, so just skip that. April 29th, board retreat, as Dan mentioned. That'll be when TASB comes and goes over the results, and then some action planning based on the board self-assessment. Excited to embrace that process. First year teacher celebrations, April 30th. If you have the opportunity to come, it's really nice celebration the HR puts on for our first year teachers, first year teachers. So if you have a chance to come, and I think, do we have a board member involved with that or not? Donna? No? Okay. That's retirement. Okay. Maybe I should retire because I'm getting everything confused. May 1st, we have the TBL silver courting. And then May 6th, the 2025 Senior Top 10% Banquet. That's at Temple High School Library at 6 o'clock. And then May 8th is our TEF Impact Celebration. That's the top 20%, where our students pick an educator. And I've seen anything from a bus driver to a librarian to a first grade teacher to a high school teacher selected. And it's a really nice event. If you have an opportunity to check out a little Wildcat Relays May 9th, that's an exciting event too at Temple High School. That starts at 8:30. And that's all I have, so I just encourage you to show up at as many things as you can. I know it means a lot to our staff and our students and families. Thank you.
Michael Morris will be there.
Michael Morris will be there, yes. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Ott. Item F, consideration for approval of letter of resignation from Linnell Davis, District 2. I know it's with a sincere regret on behalf of all board members that we're receiving this letter, and in fact, I'll read the letter into the record. Please accept this letter of resignation for my position as District 2 Board of Trustee member. This resignation is effective Monday, April 14, 2025. As you are aware, I have moved and no longer live in the District 2 zone. It has been my honor to have served on this board for more than 10 years. This position has taught me more than I could have hoped. Words cannot express the appreciation I have for the Board of Trustees, Dr. Ott, and the senior leadership team. It has truly been an honor to have worked with such an amazing team while improving the school district and meeting the needs of TISD, its employees, and its students. The commitment to teamwork, excellence, and above all, a desire to work in the best interests of Temple ISD will never be forgotten. Thank you for giving me the chance to work with such an incredible team. I know that under your leadership, advancements will continue to be made, and I would like to wish each of you great success moving forward. Sincerely, Linnell Davis, TISD Board Member, District 2. Unfortunately, this is something we have to approve, so.
Regretfully move for approval.
Motion by Mr. Gaines,
I'll second.
seconded by Mrs. Myers. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. The letter is accepted. I think, Melinda, I'll speak on behalf of the board. We truly value your service, working with us, your incredible contributions to TISD, not only, starting back in your early days all the way up through now. I know we're going to still call on you, and your job's not done. I know you'll continue to help us in different areas. Thank you so much for everything that you have done. We're truly going to miss you. Would you like to say something now?
It's a little difficult, but circumstances, life issues create sometimes good situations, and I'm going to miss the board. I'm going to miss everyone here. We're like family, and I know I can call on them whenever, and even the leadership team. It's just been a pleasure, and I have learned so much. So I will be involved here and there doing my thing, and it's just been a pleasure knowing and being with you all. Okay.
Thank you, Linnell. Now, since we do have a vacancy, I'll announce our trustee appointment process and application. In accordance with Temple ISD Board Policy BBC Legal, if a vacancy occurs on the board, the remaining board members may fill the vacancy by appointment until the next trustee election. The online application will be posted tonight and will remain open through 5 p.m. on April 28th. Interested applicants can visit our website, www.tisd.org, click on the About Us tab, and then click on the school board link to access the application form, or you can contact the superintendent's office for more information. Okay. Item 7 is consent items A through G2. What is the pleasure of the board to deal with these items?
I make a motion that we view 7A through G2 altogether.
Motion made by Mr. Gaines,
I'll second.
seconded by Ms. Gowan. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, the same sign. The ayes have it. Motion passes. Thank you. Item 8, Human Resources. Dr. Ward.
Evening.
So tonight I bring to you for approval,
Let me go ahead.
yes, you need to read it. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Item 1, consideration for approval of superintendent's recommendation regarding employment and contract status of administrative professional personnel. There you go.
Okay, thank you. So tonight I bring to you, our administrative contracts for, your consideration for the next 2 years or 1 year, depending on what their job is. And so I'm bringing the principals that are returning next year. We do have 2 that have resigned. So the ones that are returning, I'm bringing those. And then our directors. And you should have a list of those people in your packet. So I'm not going to read them all. I'm going to let you take a glance at them. And then you are free to move forward with your vote.
Any questions, members? This is an item that requires approval.
I move to approve.
Motion by Mrs. Cook,
A second?
seconded by Mrs. Myers. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. The ayes have it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Item B, academics, Dr. Adams. I think there's no items tonight. All right. Item C, facility operations, construction update. Mr. Boyd, welcome.
All right. Vance is gonna get us rolling here in just a minute. So, we're gonna have a construction update. Those of you on facility committee have seen most of what you'll see tonight. It is a more condensed version, so don't worry. Those of you that haven't had a chance to see it, we just wanna give you all a chance to see it. Anyone in the audience, give you updates on where we are. It's nice when I see Jennifer here because she has a lot to do with this behind the scenes, helping us sell bonds and refund bonds, and so you get a chance to see pictures of what you've actually set in motion. So, very cool. In the meantime, the projects are going well. They're all continuing within budget. We're toward the end of this bond. We're getting toward the end of this bond. We still have a couple of projects that we haven't really started on, but we'll be starting on the planning on those within the next month or so. So we'll see some pictures here in a minute.
I think I'm just a couple seconds out. Unfortunately, I think the next time I have a presentation, I'll
Good. All right, so real quickly, we'll kind of get rolling on the updates. You want to control it from there? Okay. All right. Right now, this is a list of the projects we currently have. We have 14 that are currently underway in various stages. We've got 2 still left that I was talking about we need to begin planning for. That'll start next month, and that's the auditorium at Meredith Dunbar and the transportation complex. And you can see everything else there is at a various stage of completion. And the next slide will show us those that we have completed. The next time I show this, we'll have several more because we've got a couple that are around 99% just needing to clean up a few items, hit some punch list items and so forth. But it's always nice when the completed list starts to gain steam and becomes more than the still to-do list. So that's just a little summary of where we are. All right, let's talk real quickly about the Athletic Performance Complex. Of course, this opened. Staff and students moved in over spring break. Just so excited about this facility and what this does for our students, our student athletes, our student trainers, for not just our athletes, but others that will be using this facility. We have classrooms in this space too. We have meeting spaces for community events in this space. So this is going to touch a lot of people. I'll also mention that on April 24th, you all will be able to see the finished product at the retreat that we will have. We'll see both Bonham and the Athletic Performance Complex. So one of the pictures of the weight facility, I do believe that the weight facility rivals just about anything you're going to see anywhere. I think our coaches and our students are thrilled to be able to start using that, and they already have a lot of activity going on. So that's already seen a lot of use. The spaces that, and I think I've said this on several occasions, maybe the space that to me I get most excited about and that I think is the most impressive, and I know y'all have heard me say this if you've heard me talk about this, is our student trainer area. And anytime we go into a project, we take tours, we look at things. Steve Prentice and I, along with several other staff members, took trips back a couple of years ago to several locations, sometimes together, sometimes on our own, to look at what other people had in developing this project. The training facility, the student training area, I think is second to none. I think what you will see when you see that is better than what many colleges have, and that's not an exaggeration. I think that's a very accurate statement because we saw some smaller colleges that didn't have anything like what we have here. And so these aren't just areas where athletes are taken care of, but these are areas where our student athletic trainers learn. They learn how to take care of our athletes. They learn skills that many of them continue on with, whether it's in training or some type of medical field. So this, to me, is a great space. Thrilled with this space. So Steve's done a great job on this. Our graphic installation just about almost complete. He has really spearheaded that and helped develop that. And so the important things we wanted to do here, certainly put our stamp on it with everything that means Temple. And you see a lot of statements in there that are very Temple-centric, but also in our athletic areas, and certainly we're going to have, we've got locker rooms that include varsity, JV, different sports, but we wanted to have those, the signage for those to be consistent, no matter what you work, whether it's a JV or varsity, whether it's football, whether it's track, whether it's baseball. And so he helped consistently design a system that's very consistent in its signage, and that's all been going up recently. There are some more images there. You can see the track, baseball, along with some of the installation of those pictures actually there of the second and fourth pictures are actually in the training space. So it not only functions well, but it looks great, and it definitely looks like Temple. It looks like us. One thing I want to show folks that as you all are aware, now that the new facility is open, it's enabled us to get into one of the spaces that we will be renovating. So when you look at the picture, the building on the right, with the white roof is the newer of the facilities. I think that was built in the 90s, and it's been renovated a couple of times. But we chose to hold on to this space because we can renovate that and use it for meeting spaces, for changing spaces for visiting teams, for our wrestling program, for official spaces, which are now necessary in this world, that they have dedicated spaces as well. So that's already started, and the minute we got out of that building and into the new one, American constructors began gutting the building they'll renovate. The building on the left is the old original field house when the stadium was built in 65, I believe. I'm a 65 model too. I just don't want to be demoed anytime soon. But we're going to take this down, but we're going to wait until we're completely finished with everything because we have to start the season with something. We fully expect that the renovated space will be ready for the first football game, but we won't demolish the other one until we have the other one ready, and we know for a fact we can start the season with it. That'll be cleared out. Right now, we don't have a design for what might go in that space. I think at the moment we just want to use that as a green space, but that certainly is something that will develop as time goes on, and that'll just be some good space to work with. Let's get into the campuses. Wheatley and Edwards are the two campuses that are really at 99% completion. The only things left are a few site work issues. There's some concrete work going on at Edwards. Wheatley's still got a few punch list items they're working on, but those are getting done, and those will be completed. And by the next time I present this, that'll all be completed. But really excited about the transformation that we've seen at both those locations. New entrance to Wheatley, a new secure dedicated space there, a new office space to make it congruent with our other campuses where we have dedicated vestibule space for people to enter. Just a really nice facelift for both of those campuses. And of course that was done with students in the building, so we had to work around them in phases, but we're basically at the finish line in both those cases. Okay, want to talk next about Garcia, Ray Allen, and Kennedy Powell. Those are three projects where we're adding wings onto all three of them. We're adding capacity mainly just to get out of portables. So it's not additional capacity, it's simply to get us out of portables, which was a huge part of this bond and something we've been working on over the last three bonds, and we're just about there. So Garcia is a little further along than the other campuses. It's about 80% complete, working on emergency access behind it right now. But you can see from kind of an aerial view there, the extension off of the end. And then that's a close-up view, and that's just an example of what one of the classrooms will look like. That building is progressing at a very good pace. Next, Kennedy Powell. Kennedy Powell's got a couple of things going on. Not only does it have the addition, but it's got the emergency access and safety loop. That loop will be it will serve two purposes. It'll serve as emergency access around the building. It will also serve for pickup and drop off and stacking space, which has been sorely needed at that campus for years. And so this project, paving should begin any day now. That is, like I say, that's to be completed by the end of the month. As far as the building itself, we're about 70% complete on the interior. We're still waiting on some finalized brick for the exterior, but everything on the interior is continuing and is on schedule. Finally, Ray Allen is kind of at a similar spot as Kennedy Powell, about 65% interior work completed, and that brick combination is also something we're waiting on to get, and we'll finish that one up along with Kennedy Powell. So to wrap them up, all three of them kind of paired together all have an addition, but they also all had significant improvements in the interior of the building, namely painting, alarm installation, PA installation, ceiling work, and all of that. Those are all at different stages, of completion, but they worked on those. Cloud Construction is doing this one, these three. They worked on some of that last summer. They will continue working on it this summer, and by the time we start school in August, everything should be completed on all 3 of these campuses. So very excited about what that represents, and then portables are gone from those campuses. Scott is another addition project. Right now we've got the cafeteria kitchen and a couple of classrooms on the addition on the south end. This will all be ready for, also in time for school to start in August. It's about 60% complete. Then once we move into those new spaces, the original or the existing cafeteria kitchen space will be renovated into classroom space as well. So this is a campus where we don't have portables, but this definitely gives us some extra capacity moving forward, and something we've been planning on as we looked at demographic reports and so forth. We've also got some flooring issues on the corridors that you all are probably well aware of. Those are things we'll also be solving over the course of this summer. So a lot going on here. Just a couple of pictures of the outside in keeping with the architectural look. The brick and stone that's been used in other parts of that building will continue on here so that it looks like a continuous piece and not an add-on. But great space, going to be a great space. Excited for that. And then on the inside, that gives you a look. That's some renovated space there on the left, but on the right, the tile is already going up in the cafeteria, or in the kitchen area of the cafeteria. And so that was really the last cafeteria kitchen area to receive attention. While we did renovate it to make it look nicer on the last bond, especially in the dining area, the cafeteria area, the kitchen was original. And it had a lot of renovation that needed to be done. So adding this new one substantially upgrades that, and really at that point all of our kitchens will be upgraded to a much higher standard. So looking forward to them being able to move into that to start school in August. Bonham Middle School, this is the other campus you will be able to see next week at the retreat. We're excited to show it to you. Again, here is cafeteria kitchen and a library addition that will be ready in time for school to start in August as well. It's about 60% complete. This was the other campus other than Scott that needed improvement to a kitchen that had not had any. So again, once these are done, we've gotten all of our kitchens to a level where they need to be and need to operate. Not only to mention they'll be much larger as well. The library will be much larger and nicer than what we've had there. Once this gets built, then we will begin renovations in other areas, in those areas. That'll start in the summer. We already have renovation going on in a couple of the library rooms that were science labs that we needed to expand. And so we've already got work going on there. That actually started this semester. But there will be a lot of renovation work. There will be a lot of activity on this campus still as we move into the fall, and then should all be completed at some point in time next school year. Again, just another couple of pictures. That's the picture from the back, which is the new back entrance, if you will, and just some already renovated spaces where they've already gutted the old science labs. Next picture shows the track and restroom concession area. They striped the track this week, so I got a quick picture this afternoon. It looks ready, and need to work on the field a little bit now to get it greened up. But the concession stand restroom facility is also well underway, and all of that will be completed early in the summer, maybe by the time we get out for school. So it'll be ready to be used next year when we start school as well. Travis, this project is basically complete. The students are now using the track. The track is completed. The bleachers are there. The restroom concession stand facility is there. The parking is there. The one thing that we still are working on is the field, and that needs a little bit of attention. We've been working on it. We will continue to. When I say we, I mean the subcontractor. There's some top dressing, some leveling, some things that we really need to have done to it before students can begin to use it in the fall. But we will be using this field also in the fall when we start back to school. The next one's Lamar. Had a question about Lamar earlier and what we were doing there. This is a large view, from an overhead view of that space. This was one of those projects that there was a lot that had to go on before you could actually start to see results. A lot of utility movement, drainage relocation, site grading. I had to build a retaining wall on the side. We saved as many trees as we could. That was important, especially to me. So we're about 50% complete. The important thing here is all the underlying work, all of that work has been completed. And now you'll start to see things happen like bleachers starting to go up. We've already got work on the concession stand restroom facility there. But you'll see that start to really come together. Lights will be installed, and that will also be ready to start in August. So when we start back in August, a lot will be ready. A lot of these things will be ready when school starts in August, and we're really excited about that. All three competition fields will be at that point. That's a view on the top from ground level looking to the west, and you can see there's a pretty substantial retaining wall that's required there because of the site and the site work that's happening. The good news is I think it's a pretty retaining wall. They're using stone on that, so it's an attractive look. It doesn't just look like a brick wall or a rock wall. It's a pretty wall, I think. Not many middle school football fields will be able to have that as a backdrop. And then you also see there's the concession stand restroom facility that's also underway. Roofing, we're about 90% completed with all the roofs. The only thing left is Western Hills, and that's one that we have held off starting on because of the construction that's also going on at Western Hills, but that should be completed before too long, and then we'll have that one checked off as well. Wildcat Stadium improvements, a lot going on there too. This is being funded by the tax maintenance note, not bond. As you all have seen, if you've been by, all the seats were removed. They were removed on the coldest days we had back in February. Concrete repairs underway. Kind of interesting. All the sealant's been taken out, and they're resealing all the cracks and crevices. And in addition, they're rebuilding the steps. We've already identified over 50 steps that needed to be jackhammered out and rebuilt because the tops were loose or the finish on top was getting loose. In some cases, it already looked bad and was a trip hazard. Some it was coming and on the way because of time and age. So that's in process right now. This continues to be on schedule as well. Steve and I meet with them frequently, and we make sure they know that the schedule is a tight one, and I'm confident they'll get there. It's all scheduled to be completed by August. The next picture is going to show you the scaffolding as it looks right now outside Wildcat Stadium. I will not go up that, and I would challenge anyone else in here to go up that. You can if you want. I don't think Steve or I, either one, have any interest whatsoever in climbing on that scaffolding, but thank goodness there are people that know what they're doing and plan to do that. So you'll start to see some real tangible changes there happening as well. Finally, Temple High addition and renovation. We will begin this month on construction on the Science Wing addition. We're excited to be able to start that. That will be done. That'll take about a year. And then next summer is when things really get busy on that campus. That's when the cafeteria kitchen renovation happens, the golf cheer locker room renovation happens, the ag barn improvements start, HVAC replacement happens, and classroom and restroom renovations all start. Many of them can be completed in the summer. It's going to be a tight schedule, but some of them will start and then bleed into the school year. Next summer is going to be a busy time at Temple High, but a lot we will have, and we're doing a lot of the preparation work now to set us up for success when we get there. We've already got initial designs on the cafeteria kitchen, golf and cheer areas. Plans for the other areas listed there are all in various stages of development. Again, this is the messiest project of them all because it's very involved and it's the largest campus that we have. So it's the campus that never sleeps. I mean, there's always something going on there year round. So this is the one that there will be a lot to work around. We've done it before. It's an ambitious project, but it'll be nice when we're finished with it. Operations Center, demolition of that site started in March. That project will occur in 2 phases, take about 2 years to complete. Everyone but maintenance has been moved to another location over at Cater, and that means warehouse, purchasing, and school nutrition. But right now, there's just a lot of demolition going on there, and I've never been so excited to see demolition as I was when I saw this. Although when the Quonset huts went down, I was pretty excited about that demolition too. But this one really ranks up there. It's nice to see it getting cleaned off, getting demoed, and getting ready for construction. The next picture is going to show what they're doing in the school nutrition area. That's the one facility we did not demo because the bones were still good on it, and we could also leverage some federal funding from that program if we renovated rather than rebuild. So that area is getting gutted. It is completely gutted, and they're building back with the frame, but it will all look cohesive, and it'll all look like it fits when we get finished with it. Last few, Western Hills, construction on the addition for music and art to the north began in January. It's about 18% complete at this point in time. So there are already classrooms on the north wing that are under renovation. This will also be one where we kind of hop around, and once that north wing is done in the summer, we'll begin to renovate other areas in the rest of the building, and then when those are done, we'll renovate the final pieces. So there's about 3 phases to this. Students will stay on campus, but they'll be moved to different areas of the campus while we're able to do that. We've done a lot of work there in the past, but any room that did not receive renovation on the last couple of bonds will be touched by this one. So when we're done, the whole thing will have been renovated, and that's the key. It'll occur in phases, and again, substantial movement between wings. But having the new security vestibule and the fire sprinkler system are really important pieces to this as well. Again, we expect the entire thing to be finished in the spring of '26. There's a picture from up above of what that looked like a couple of weeks ago, and then as of this week, we've already got some walls put up. That's one of the classrooms on the right that's been demoed. You can see floor tiles out, ceiling tiles out, everything's off the wall. These demos, especially on a building that contains asbestos, always are pretty involved because there's a lot of removal and a lot of remediation you have to do that's part of the renovation, but this affords us that opportunity to do that. Again, Meredith, as I mentioned at the start, we haven't started planning yet for that, but that's going to begin next month. That's got auditorium improvements, ADA improvements, and some site work. And then finally, transportation is the last one. Same thing. We will start those plans, formal planning for that next month. We will improve their training spaces and get them out of the portables that are there. And then have some ways we need to pave that area to the side because of overflow parking and so forth. So that's where we are. Yes, sir.
Ken, I don't know if I missed it or not, but ag?
Yes. Yes, it's mentioned in the high school project. It's part of the planning for the renovation. We've started with the cafeteria kitchen, and then that's kind of the first piece we've started working on. Then in planning stages. Then the golf and cheer locker rooms. Then ag would be next. The classrooms on the second floor and restrooms will then follow those. So yeah, that's all part of that high school piece that we're already into the preliminary design stages. We're further along in the cafeteria kitchen because that's the biggest piece, and that's the piece we've got to get right and be ready to go, because obviously that's a pretty critical piece, the cafeteria kitchen. But yes, that's part of that. Also like to thank those that helped me get pictures. So appreciate all their work. Takes a team to do it. So do y'all have any other questions?
Members, any questions of Kent? Thank you very much for giving us an update on quite a few projects still ongoing.
Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support, and always appreciate the community for supporting us, because that's why we're able to do what we do. Thank you.
Item D is finance. 1, report on property tax collection activities. Mrs. Stanford.
Thank you. Good evening. So there's definitely a theme tonight, facility funding, but also tax collections and and having community support there and trying to maximize dollars for facilities. As you well know, school districts are primarily funded by taxpayers, and this current year, the amount of local tax dollars versus the state revenue has exceeded what state revenue contributes. So right now, local tax dollars is about 51% of our revenues for this school year. And so approximately out of that 51%, 1% are made up of delinquent tax collections, those that are outstanding longer than a year. And so at this time, I would like to introduce Connor Buchanan. He is a shareholder and attorney for MVBA. MVBA partners with Bell County Appraisal District and has a long history of assisting Temple ISD with our delinquent tax collections, filing appeals, and taxable value audits every year. And they're here tonight to give the annual presentation for our TISD delinquent tax collections.
Thank you, Brandy.
Welcome, Connor.
Thank you. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you, board members, Dr. Ott, for having me this evening. Again, I'm Connor Buchanan. I'm one of our shareholders with MVBA. If you don't mind going to, I believe it's page 3 or 4 would be the next one. There we go. So a couple of high points for this evening. Brandy said I had 45 minutes to an hour. Was that right? Just kidding. This should be about 10 minutes. So a couple of high points. We're going to talk mainly on 2 things. First, that local tax revenue that Brandy talked about. And then at the very end, we'll talk about how we assist with state funding as well. The first thing that we like to do is kind of a health check on the financial status of the district. And so this first slide that you see is actually total revenue from tax collections. This is going to include all of your taxes that were paid in a timely fashion, which, as Brandy said, is the vast majority of those. And then also delinquent taxes that were collected during the same fiscal year that these tax years represent, along with penalties and interest. If you look at that, you'll notice, okay, well, some of these numbers are above 100%, and that's how you get to that. Not only are we looking at what's collected during the current year, but all the old year's taxes and all of the funds associated with that, so you can get above the 100% mark. I know the district has probably just received its estimate of values from this year for the appraisal district. Y'all start working on your budget. And so the goal of this is to assist and to be able to say, okay, historically speaking, what have we actually collected during that fiscal year so that we can plan our budget accordingly. So this most recent fiscal year, the district actually collected almost 100.5% of the property taxes that it levied and has had that trend over the last couple years. One discrepancy there would be 2022, and we believe that's because at that point in time, your tax levy actually went up about 20% between those years. So our job is to collect the old taxes. Those actually add on to your currents, and that's how you get above 100%. But there is, like I said, I believe about a $12 million difference between those two. But all in all, when you set your budget, you can rely on at least 99.99 or 100% of the property tax revenue that you levy every single year. The second one is cumulative tax collections. This is almost the same as the previous graph, but it actually shows just the base tax and where it's been collected since it was levied at first. You've got 3 years here, 23, 22, 21, and then 20. And the goal of this one is to show that by the time it actually gets turned over to us in regards to delinquent collections, but also after a certain period of time, you collect almost every dollar that you levy in regards to property taxes. With this slide, I'd like to point out that there are categories of your tax roll that you probably won't get to collect, at least for a little while or indefinitely. The biggest one of those for Temple ISD, which is about $350,000, are what we call deferrals. So in the state of Texas, if you reach the age of 65 and you have a homestead, because typically those individuals are on fixed incomes, the state says you don't have to pay those property taxes as long as that remains your homestead. So once those individuals move out, or if they pass on, that money can be collected at that point in time. But the other categories of kind of, I call them uncollectible taxes, either currently or at some period, would be things like bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is a federal proceeding, and we're not allowed to intervene in that or to collect those while the bankruptcy is pending. And then there's a lot of insolvent personal property, which businesses that have gone insolvent, so by the time it gets turned over to us to collect, there's nothing left for us to collect at that point. So, next one here, Mike. And this one is actually kind of a myopic or a little bit more focused on what our firm, as far as delinquent tax collections, does. You've got over those circles and then the actual graph there itself shows what was turned over to MVBA for collections over the last 4 fiscal years and how much of that has actually been collected. This one is at the end of last calendar year, but I've got updated numbers for at least 2023. So I guess that would be, we're right at about 8 months. We've collected about 58% of what was turned over to us in July of last year. As you go kind of left to right on those circles, you notice that the longer that we have to collect it, the more of that will actually get collected to where we get up into that 90, 91, 92% range, and that's what we like to see. And typically, we'll see within the first, I'd say 6 to 8 months, most of that will be collected because we're able to, because we have actually 4 staff members from the firm at the tax appraisal district in Bell County. A lot of what we do to collect, I know most people think collections attorney are the least favorite people in any room here at the time to do property taxes, and we're lawyers, and nobody seems to like lawyers for some reason. So, but we do everything we can to be both proactive about how we collect these taxes and fair to your taxpayers. One of the things I really love about this job is that most attorneys have to be adversarial all the time. Most of my job is actually interacting with taxpayers, whether it's here or my office is in Waco, Texas, and actually explaining them what their options are, whether they need to do exemption or reduce property taxes, whether it's setting up an agreement to pay these taxes. That's kind of our first line, is just getting in touch with your taxpayers. And if we go to that next slide, this is one more slide. This is typically how we do it. So when your taxes are turned over to us for collections, our primary point of contact for the taxpayers is going to be through mailing notices, and then just having, like I said, our 4 staff members at the appraisal district getting in touch with them. We do a lot of on-site visits, which you probably know, where we visit business owners. All the properties that we had post for sale. That first column is the ones that are posted, and then the third column is the ones that are actually sold. And there is still a significant difference between those, because even posting something for sale is just another cost for the property owner to come in and manually enter into the taxes. Like I said, a couple other numbers there. Going back to there. Just shows, like I said, those tax sales the last couple of years, and then all of the good work, like I said, that our full-time staff members are housed in the appraisal district do for all the tax sales. Yeah. Are there any questions about it?
Any questions? Yeah?
It's necessary.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Nothing. Thank you all again for having me here. We appreciate our partnership with the district. Look forward to seeing all the Education Foundation folks as well.
Well, again, thank you for all you do. This is a vital part of keeping us in business, and keeping us operating.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Item 2, consideration for approval of order authorizing the issuance of unlimited tax refund and bonds.
Thank you. So one of the opportunities that we have upon us right now is to refund our Series 2016 bond and possibly our 2018 bond in just a few short months. So I would caution you to think of this process as refinancing your personal mortgage. When a bond becomes callable and the market is favorable, we attempt to refinance with a better interest rate to ultimately stretch those taxpayer dollars. However, if y'all are like me, you're constantly watching the news to figure out what's going on federally and state right now, and it's kind of uncertain day by day. It's certainly volatile based off of what we're going to do with tariffs by any 5-minute increment, to be honest. But we're going to continue to monitor the situation and make the best decisions on behalf of the district. And so at this time, it is my privilege to introduce Jennifer Ritter. She is our financial advisor with Specialized Public Finance. And then Angela Avila is also here, our bond attorney with McCall, Parkhurst, and Horton, who are going to advise our team on the next steps for when and if the time becomes right to refinance our bonds and save on interest income. Miss Ritter is going to present on the timeline and kind of just a couple of high-level details about the process. And then Ms. Avila can answer any questions you may have regarding the authorization to delegate the authority to price these bonds and to issue unlimited tax refunding bonds presented for your approval tonight.
Jennifer, Angela, welcome back. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. It's nice to be here too, to see the bond projects as they go through, so that's great. So this, as Ms. Stanford mentioned, is an opportunity to refinance for savings. It's not something that you have to do. It's just something we bring to you when the opportunity arises, as interest rates move down and you might have the opportunity to save some money. So this is hopefully a good news opportunity for the district. If you don't mind, the next slide, please. So your 2016 bonds become callable on August 1st of 2025. As you may recall from the last time the federal government cut income taxes back in 2017, they took away your ability to do what's called an advance refunding, where we could refund in advance of that call date. These bonds have that call date of August 1st of this summer. We cannot refinance it on a tax-exempt basis prior to that. So we're essentially in a position of waiting until those call dates occur. You have $44 million, if we round up, of outstanding debt still in those 2016 bonds. They're paying an interest rate of 5%. The market currently, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in detail here, is less than that interest rate. So the earliest that we can take advantage, that the IRS says that you can actually do it 90 days in advance of that call date. So the earliest we could take advantage of this would be May 3rd, which is why we're coming to you tonight. So assuming if we were to use interest rates from Friday, and we'll talk about why we're talking about that as well, the savings would be currently just over $3.2 million, or 5.3% as a percentage of the savings. That represents about $216,000 a year between 2027 and 2041. As I mentioned, these bonds currently, the 2016 series is paying 5%. The interest rate that we would use on the new bonds to replace those is a 3.93%. But that last bullet there, interest rates will move. So these interest rates or these savings are subject to change by the time we can get to pricing. On the next slide, if you don't mind, we have had quite a bit of volatility, as I'm sure you're aware of, in all the financial markets, particularly the bond market. So this is an interest rate graph from the beginning of 2025 to the right-hand side. This is actually as of Friday. Now, this year, essentially. So you can, we don't have to be financial experts to see what happened last week. There was a huge skyrocket in interest rates. So on the next slide, if you don't mind, Friday before, so call it, a little over a week ago, interest rates were such that our savings were almost $4.8 million, just current market rates. Today we're bringing forward a week later interest rates. Friday, we haven't priced in what happened yesterday. $3.2 million. So that's a pretty big swing. And that's a result of that volatility that happened with the tariffs and the uncertainty surrounding those. Treasury bond yields skyrocketed, went higher. And when that happens, typically the bonds in our market as well will follow the Treasury market. So they also went up. Just to kind of show you the variation there, if interest rates were to increase by another 0.5%, a half percentage point, and last week they increased by an entire 1%. So that, pretty good swing. So another 0.5%, that would drop your savings all the way down to 1.3 million. But inversely, if they were to drop by 0.5%, you would go up to 5 million. So all that to say is that we're kind of all over the place as to where savings may be. On the next slide here, the action before you tonight is something called a delegation. So you've probably heard that there were some deals in the market last week that were supposed to price that got pulled due to interest rate volatility. Certainly some even in Bell County. What you can do as a school district doing a refunding with the amount of debt that you have outstanding, under state law, you're allowed to do something called a delegations or a parameters order that says, we don't want to have to price on our board meeting date. We want to price the best day in the market. So what you're allowed to do, and the action that we are bringing forward for you tonight, is to set the parameters that would make it meaningful for Temple ISD to move forward with this refunding. So you'll set a maximum interest rate, you'll set a term, and in this case the term would be that we're not going to extend the life of those 2016 bonds. When they would have paid off is when they'll still pay off, and then a minimum amount of savings as well. So it allows us to not price last week, for example, when interest rates were moving up, to kind of wait till some of that volatility were to move, and we couldn't price that anyway, we had to go through the rating process and everything else. But as an example, to wait for a better day, better tone in the market, We've used this on your last several sales for this exact reason. It allows the superintendent and the CFO to figure out what the best timing is, and if that doesn't work, pull it, no harm to you. On the next slide here, the parameters that we're discussing tonight would be to have the board delegate to the superintendent or the chief financial officer a maximum par amount of 73.69. That's more than just the 2016. So as Ms. Stanford mentioned, you also have some 2018 bonds which are becoming callable in February of 26. The reason that we're including that is because this order will last for a year until April of 26. So if for some reason this refunding just doesn't make sense in the next few months, we can wait on those other bonds to become callable next year and include them here. So that just gives you more flexibility to maximize savings. The intent is not to do that. The intent is to say, hey, let's try and go as quickly as we can and lock in savings since they are so strong with these 2016 bonds. But we are doing that to give you maximum flexibility. And then as well, the order, I believe, includes all the outstanding bonds of the district, but again, we're just doing the 2016 bonds here. We did put in a minimum savings of 3%, so if we were to, and not to make you go back a couple of slides if you don't mind, there. So that third option where rates increase by another 0.5 percentage point to 1.38, you can see that's 2.2%. That wouldn't, we couldn't do the refunding because it's under the 3% that we're setting. You can change that threshold, but I think it makes sense if it's less than 3%. You're still having to pay cost of issuance, you're still having to go through the process for your staff and time. I would make it a minimum of 3%. So that puts the onus on us and the markets to make it work. So if you don't mind, to the last slide, sir, I appreciate your help. So assuming that you wanted to move forward tonight's the action that you would take to approve the order that gives, again, the parameters to the CFO and the superintendent. We'll go ahead and apply for that permanent school fund guarantee. None of this is binding in terms of cost to the district. If it doesn't work, we put it back on the shelf, we come back to you when it expires, or just never do it. Except for the PSF guarantee that costs $1,500. It replaces the AA- rating of Temple ISD with the AAA guarantee of the state. Again, that's $1,500. We do have to pay that in advance. It lasts for a year. So I think we'll do it by then, but I would point out that that's the only cost to move forward is that. Everything else is unless it works, you don't pay any of it. Come back next month and do the rating calls to update that bond rating, and then be in a position as quickly as we can to price in early June, again, depending upon where the market is in early June. And if we were able to do that, we could close in July, right before that call date of August 1st. Again, we can do it in 90 days. So since last week when you saw the interest rates skyrocket, they have started to come back down. And I think there's going to be a lot of that over the next few months of good news, interest rates come down, bad news, they go up. So it really is just sort of on us to kind of figure out what the best day in the market is and not jump too soon. But this allows us to do that by having this order ready to go and working with your CFO to make sure it's the best time. So happy to answer any questions that you may have. Happy to be here and appreciate the opportunity to come, especially when there's awards. That's always nice. I was trying to figure out 20 feet 1 inch is most of that in terms of the long jump. That's crazy. So congratulations.
It's a distance. Members, any questions tonight on the issue? Dr. Ott.
So this motion covers both 16 and 18?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And I will say that Jennifer Ritter and her team have worked really closely with us. If you recall the 2024 bond sales, Jennifer and her team were crucial in that they were really watching the market. We had to make sure that we went out before Austin ISD that morning, and it was also moments before the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed the very next day, and so that was very crucial to the success of that bond. And so her team has been very important to this whole process. They have looked out for everything we need as far as bond savings and how to stretch it. As you recall, they were also the team that helped us with the tax maintenance note to get that passed to fund the athletic stadium as well.
That's true. And I would just let the board know that before anything is committed from the district, that each of you will know.
Right.
So you know it does meet the parameters and how much savings and so forth.
All right. Members, this does require approval tonight.
Move for approval.
Motion made by Mr. Gaines,
I'll second.
seconded by Ms. Gowan. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. The ayes have it. The motion passes. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. E, Student Services. Item 1, 2025 to 2026 cell phone and student device update. Mr. Hockenberg.
Good evening. This year, the School Health Advisory Committee was charged with researching the student health impact of smart devices and to make appropriate recommendations. The SHAC committee has had 3 meetings so far this year, and in those 3 meetings, they developed the review, the summary that you have there in your board materials tonight. One couple things I wanted to mention is as this process unfolded, some of the key items of discussion that the committee had as they were researching smart devices is one, that smart devices were a distraction to the learning environment, which we know, and that they had a negative impact on the mental health of many of our students. Another thing that was talked about was parents, in reference to cell phones, want to be able to contact their students when there is an emergency. Also, that special considerations needed to be given for students that had unique learning environments or health needs. Sometimes those smart devices are connected to that. In talking about implementation of the policies, there was discussion that there needed to be consistent enforcement, and it didn't have to necessarily be similar for the various grade levels, is that there could be difference with that. One of the unique things that conversation that happened at the SHAC committee is we do have students that are part of the SHAC, and in students discussing how the high school has implemented their smart device policy, and they actually thought that it increased their discussion time in class, and that they actually appreciated being able to have more of that face-to-face conversation and discussion with their classmates. And so that I thought that was a unique thing that came out of these discussions. And then lastly, the policy needed to include an education and a phone etiquette component as part of the rollout for this. So they came up with recommendations for the elementary school. They recommend that smart devices not be permitted during the school day. And the school day definition was when you enter the building, and it ends when you leave. As far as the middle school was concerned, it was basically the same, that they needed to be turned off during the school day, but that they could bring it to school. One of the unique things in talking with the middle school principals with this is their definition of smart device at the middle school didn't include earbuds and smartwatches, whereas the committee, in their definition, included that. So a change in this for middle school, their recommendation would be not to have the earbuds or the smartwatches, which is different from they are currently allowed this year. And another thing that they talked about was potentially, as the high school, having cell phone lockers, so that during class the students would put them in the locker and then at the end of class take them out. At the high school, it was basically what is in place now at the start of the year. So it's instructional time, so it's during class time that the cell phones would be in the locker in the individual classrooms, but they would be allowed between classes and at lunch to use their cell phones. In talking about the implementation pieces, it follows the standard progressive discipline protocols, whereas the first offense, it's a warning. Second offense, the phone would be taken up and the kid could get it at the end of the day. Third offense, it would be taken up and the parent would have to come back and pick up the phone. And then any subsequent offense, that would just go through the standard referral process with that. Another piece tied into with technology and smart devices is you'll be hearing in the near future talk about different accountability measures for middle school for the one-on-one program that we currently have. So you'll be hearing that conversation coming up. And then sort of related to that, another technology piece that's when we talk about accountability and safety, it's potentially looking at the high school having badges again, so that when the student is called upon to produce that badge, then they would have it, and just another layer of security with that. So that is a summary of the SHAC committee's work. Is there any questions?
Eric, thank you very much. Any questions, members? Or Dr. Ott?
Well, I would just add that we had the opportunity to share those recommendations with some local pediatricians, and they gave us some input as well into the recommendations. And I think our plan is to put together a comprehensive communication to go out probably in May to families, letting them know the changes at the elementary, middle school level, reminding them of the things that we're doing at the high school, and then discuss the badges piece, as well as the device accountability that we're looking at in middle school. We haven't really worked that out yet. We have a meeting scheduled, but would like to get a kind of a new changes communication out referring to devices and some safety measures out to families in May. And then a few more communications in the summer, and then the month of the first school in August.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Item F is board committee reports. The policy committee meeting minutes on March 26, 25. That meeting was canceled. The next committee meeting is Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025 at 4 p.m. Facilities Committee meeting minutes, March 27th, 2025. Mr. Gaines.
Thank you, Mr. Posey. The meeting was called to order at 4:03 p.m. Mr. Wallen presented a summary of the alumni spotlight nomination process. Committee members discussed the process criteria for recognition and candidates who have been nominated. Mr. Boyd and Mr. Perez presented an update on projects under construction. The operations department is currently managing 14 projects across the district. That's what he went over with us tonight here. Board members and administrators recently toured 2 elementary schools in Houston, and Mr. Boyd provided a summary of the tours and is requesting feedback, which will eventually be used to design a future elementary school campus. The meeting was adjourned at 5:47 p.m. and I think the next facility meeting is combined with the tours, I believe.
That is the next one on May 29th. I guess the next facilities committee meeting is May 29th, 2025 at 4 p.m.
No, we don't have, that's combined with the tours, though, I think.
Okay.
The April one's combined.
April one is,
Okay.
and the one in May. Okay. That, anything else, Mr. Gaines?
That's it.
All right. That being it, there's no further business tonight. Everybody, thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it.